Have you ever wondered how cells grow and divide? It's a fascinating process, governed by a sequence of events known as the cell cycle. This cycle, like clockwork, operates in an orderly fashion, dictating the growth and division of cells. It's like the ticking heartbeat of a cell's existence, marking its journey from birth to replication. The cell cycle is a continuous process that includes everything a cell does, from duplicating its DNA and organelles to splitting its cytoplasm. It's also during this cycle that cells absorb nutrients, gearing up for division. This cycle unfolds in different phases, each specialized for a specific stage of the cell's life. And though the steps might vary between eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms, owing to their cellular complexity, the essence remains the same: growth, division, and duplication. Three main cycles form this cellular orchestra: the chromosome cycle, the cytoplasmic cycle, and the centrosome cycle. Now let's delve deeper and understand the different phases of the cell cycle. The cell cycle is divided into various phases, each marked by distinct processes. The heartbeat of cellular life, the cell cycle, is composed of three main cycles: the chromosome cycle, the cytoplasmic cycle, and the centrosome cycle. Each of these cycles is a fascinating dance of biological processes, finely tuned and intricately entwined. Let's start with the chromosome cycle. This cycle is all about DNA, the blueprint of life. It alternates between DNA synthesis and mitosis. During DNA synthesis, the double helical DNA of the cell replicates, creating two identical daughter DNA molecules. Then comes mitosis, where these identical DNA molecules are separated, ready to form the nucleus of each new daughter cell. Next, we have the cytoplasmic cycle. This is the phase where the cell really bulks up, absorbing nutrients and growth factors and doubling its cytoplasmic contents. Picture a cell in the gym, pumping iron and growing stronger. After this growth phase, cytokinesis takes place. This is when the cytoplasm divides to equally distribute its contents into two new cells. It's a bit like divvying up the spoils after a successful treasure hunt. Finally, there's the centrosome cycle. This cycle is focused on the centrosome, a key player in cell division. The centrosome is divided and duplicated to form two poles of the mitotic spindle fibers. These fibers are like the scaffolding that helps separate the chromosomes during mitosis. The centrosome cycle ensures that each daughter cell gets its share of the centrosome, setting the stage for the next round of cell division. Each of these cycles plays a vital role in the cell cycle, paving the path for growth and division. They are like the gears in a watch, each turning at its own pace, but all working together to keep the cell ticking along. These cycles are integral for cell growth and division. They are the engine that drives the cell cycle, turning the wheels of life at a cellular level. Each cycle is a chapter in the cell's life story, a story of growth, division, and the unending quest for survival. Did you know the cell cycle doesn't just happen haphazardly? It's a regulated process. Just like a well-oiled machine, the cell cycle is orchestrated by numerous stimulatory and inhibitory factors. These elements act as the cell's traffic lights, determining when a cell needs to grow or divide. Imagine a bustling city at peak hour. Without traffic signals, chaos would ensue, right? The same principle applies to cells. These regulatory factors keep everything in order, ensuring the cell cycle proceeds smoothly and efficiently. Stimulatory factors, often proteins called cyclins, send the green light, signaling the cell to progress through the cycle. In contrast, inhibitory factors act as the red light, halting the cycle to prevent uncontrolled cell division. These checks and balances are essential in maintaining healthy cells and preventing diseases such as cancer, which often result from a breakdown in this regulatory system. Understanding this regulation is crucial to understanding cell growth and division. Opening. The cell cycle is not the same in all organisms. Now, let's delve into how the cell cycle can vary between different types of organisms. Specifically, we'll be comparing eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms which differ vastly in their cellular complexity. Eukaryotic organisms, such as humans, plants, and animals, have cells with a nucleus and various other complex structures. Their cell cycle is a bit more intricate, involving distinct stages such as interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. These stages ensure that each new cell receives a complete set of chromosomes and enough cytoplasm to function effectively. In contrast, prokaryotic organisms like bacteria have simpler cells without a nucleus or other complex structures. Their cell cycle, known as binary fission, is much more straightforward. It involves the replication of the singular circular DNA molecule and division of the cell into two equal halves. Despite its simplicity, this process is efficient and allows prokaryotic organisms to reproduce rapidly. Moreover, the timing of the cell cycle can also vary greatly between different types of cells and organisms. For instance, human skin cells divide approximately every 24 hours, while liver cells only divide once or twice a year. On the other hand, under optimal conditions, a bacterium can divide as quickly as every 20 minutes. Also, it's worth noting that some cells in multicellular organisms like humans can exit the cell cycle and enter a resting phase known as the G0 phase. These cells may remain in this phase indefinitely, only re-entering the cell cycle if they are stimulated to divide and grow. In summary, while there are differences in the cell cycles of eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms, these differences are largely due to the varying complexity of their cells. However, the core principles of cell growth and division remain consistent across all organisms, demonstrating the fundamental importance of the cell cycle in life. Closing. Despite these differences, the fundamental processes of cell growth and division remain the same. So, what have we learned today about the cell cycle? We've unfolded a fascinating journey of life at a cellular level, understanding that the cell cycle is a series of ordered events resulting in cell growth and division. This cycle, acting as a biological clock, defines a cell's life history. We dove into the varying phases of the cell cycle, each specialized for a specific stage of the cell. We learned about the chromosome cycle involving DNA synthesis, the cytoplasmic cycle responsible for cell growth, and the centrosome cycle ensuring the division and inheritance of the centrosome. We also discovered that the cell cycle is under the control of various stimulatory and inhibitory factors regulating the decision between cell division and growth. And importantly, we acknowledged that the cell cycle varies among organisms due to differences in cell complexity. Understanding the cell cycle is key to comprehending how life proliferates at a cellular level. Thanks for joining this journey into the microscopic world of cells.